Hey guys, it's Jeannie. Welcome back to the Bookworm Buddies. So today I thought I would do kind of like a Jack Skellington Read-A-Thon update. So I have covered 7 of the 10 prompts so far. And I'm just going to let you know what prompts I covered with which book. So the very first prompt, number 1, was a book wrote in verse. And I chose I Heart You, You Haunt Me. This is by Lisa Schroeder, wrote in verse. This is pretty much a paranormal love story, but not how you would think. Like, this girl loses her boyfriend. She's having a hard time letting go. And she's basing her entire life now on seeing him in dreams and, you know, and hanging on. She doesn't want to walk away from it. So that's pretty much what this was. It was okay. It was a cute little story. I read it in half a day, I guess, when I had the time to sit down and read it. But yeah, I rated this 3 stars. It was okay. It was okay. The next prompt I covered was number 3, which is a book with 3 prominent characters, and I chose Mr. Creature, and this is by Chris Priestley. This book is actually just a Frankenstein retelling. So this is a story about Billy, and he's like your neighborhood pickpocket. This is set way back. I believe it was the 1800s or so. I don't remember, but he's a pickpocket. He's always having to like fight for his food and whatever, and he runs into Mr. Creature, who is actually Frankenstein's monster, but he called him Mr. Creature, just spelt in a different way. And you know, the story goes on from there. It's a Frankenstein retelling, and they're supposed to go find Dr. Frankenstein because he promised him a wife, and that's what Mr. Creature's main focus is. Billy goes along, learns a whole bunch about. They both learn a lot about each other in this journey, and yeah, that's pretty much the story. I ended up giving this 3 stars. It was alright. Not something I would probably ever read again. Okay, so the next one that I covered was number 4, which was a Christmas book. And for this, I actually got on a list because I wanted to keep all of my books horror, because, you know, it's spook season. I like to read scary books. It's spook season. And it brought me to The Christmas Bell. One of the books on there was The Christmas Bell. And this was by L.A. Detweiler. And this book is about this ornament that they find in the attic. And it's got to be cursed or something attached to it. But it just wreaks havoc for Christmas. And that's pretty much the story. I really didn't like it, you guys. I gave this 2 stars. Okay, the next one that I covered was number 5, a book about dolls or puppets. And the book I chose for that is the Dollhouse Murders. This is by Benny Wren White. This is a pretty old book. I believe it came out in 1983. So I was really late to reading this. I actually ordered this one off of Amazon. I got the 35th anniversary edition, and this cover is beautiful. But on with the story. This is a story with there's a dollhouse up in the attic, and she was told not to bother it. But she goes up there because she wants to see what's going on. Amy is her name. And each time she goes up there, things are moved around in the dollhouse to represent a murder that took place of some kids and the parents, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So I really, really, really enjoyed this one. It was fantastic. 4 stars. Great job on that one, Ms. Wright. The next one I did was a book with clowns, the circus, carnival, all that good stuff, and I chose Clown in the Cornfield, and this is by Adam Caesar, I don't know how you say his last name, but I really enjoyed this story. There's a small town, so they had this corn syrup factory that shut down, and it kind of shut the whole town down. Well, Quinn moved here with her father, and it's just boring. So you got some kids that are pranksters, and and they're pulling pranks all the time and getting in trouble, trying to liven things up in this town. And then you got Friendo, who is the friendly clown. He starts to wreak havoc, and he's homicidal, and the story goes on from there. I really enjoyed this story so much. I thought at first that it was going to be kind of cringy, but it was really, really good. Things that happened were things I didn't even expect, things that were very surprising to me, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. This book is like a YA slasher kind of book, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this book 4.5 stars, maybe 4 stars. Really, really enjoyed this one. I may have to go into the next book, but this was actually fantastic after the first few books that I read that were just kind of dull. But this one really made spook season just like pick up for me. I absolutely enjoyed the story. So the next one was a book with eyes on the cover, and I chose Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. My last Thriller Thursday covered this book, so if you guys want to watch that, it's there. I really, really enjoyed this one. It's a cult-based kind of book. And you've got these two girls that were cousins, and they were in this cult when they were young, and they had like 4 mothers. And the cult was 4 mothers, and they just detested men. They were only there for one thing, and that was to make them mothers. They both actually get out of the cult, and Maeve wants to reconnect with her cousin Andrea, and they do, and it was very unsettling. The story is very unsettling. You didn't know who was like psycho and who wasn't, and who was still clinging to the cult, and yeah, it was very unsettling, and I really, really enjoyed it. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Then the last one that I covered was a book with ghosts, paranormal, ghost house, ghost town, anything with ghost or paranormal, and I chose The Carl Haunt by Darcy Coates. I actually just finished this one yesterday, I think, and it was just the same as Craven Manor to me. I just don't know if I believe Darcy Coates is a really good writer. I just feel like she writes kind of unrealistically. Maybe because it's paranormal, you can write like that, but just parts were just really unrealistic. And I don't like that. They were taking this book in one direction, which I really liked, and then it just went in a complete different direction. So I'm not saying she can't write, because she can tell a really good story. I think she just needs to bring it to a level of realism. And I know it's a fiction book, and I know that it's fiction, it's not real stuff, but I like to have a little bit of realism in the stories. I ended up rating that 3.5 stars. Like I said, she's a good writer, and that was the reason I had that extra half star on there. But I don't know, you guys. Maybe she's just not for me, and the style is just not what I like, because the same thing happened with Craven Manor, and I think she could really write a great mystery story. I think that would be better for her than on the realm of the paranormal. I don't know, you guys. 3.5 stars. And anyway, let's move on. That was the 7 prompts that I covered so far. Hopefully I can get through this, because now I am working on a book with a black and white cover, which I chose The Pariah by Graham Masterton for that. And so I'm working on that one. And the other 2 books I chose was Bag of Bones and Cujo for the last 2 prompts. So hopefully I can get those all done and covered. But that is it for my Read-A-Thon update. I hope if you guys are also doing the Read-A-Thon that you're doing very well. I know a couple people are, I know one of my friends is already finished with it, and a couple others may be getting there, but anyway, it's been really fun. But that is it for me today, guys. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.